My name is Latasha Barr, and this is my GNET Global project entitled International Connections and Collaboration, U.S. and Canadian Pre-Service Teachers Collaboration to Understand Principles of Evidence-Based Transition Planning for Students with Disabilities. I currently serve as an educator and advocate for individuals with disabilities at Cam's Coffee Company. I am a doctoral student at Walden University, and I am also the coordinator for this project. Allow me to introduce the project. The purpose of this project is to provide pre-service special education teachers with education and training on how to use evidence-based best practices for creating and implementing secondary transition plans in their local community. Professional development has a strong influence on improving the outcomes of quality secondary transition planning and services. Participants will further develop their understanding of evidence-based practices in transition planning and create a tool to support the professional development of other pre-service special education teachers. The local learner for this project are pre-service special education teachers at state universities in North Carolina. There are 16 universities in this system, providing for a diverse makeup of local participants. The global partners are pre-service special education teachers from 9 colleges within the Canadian public college system. The project has 4 major outcomes focused on content, culture, collaboration, and 21st century skills. The first outcome, which is content, is to help pre-service special education teachers use evidence-based best practices when planning and implementing post-secondary treatment plans. The culture outcome is to demonstrate empathy, sensitivity, and understanding to the unique needs of students with disabilities. The collaboration outcome is to work effectively with global peers to develop tools for other pre-service special education teachers and develop evidence-based treatment plans for students with disabilities. The 21st century outcome is to demonstrate information and communication technology literacy through the use of technology to communicate virtually with colleagues and create digital instructional products. This project is 11 weeks long, and in weeks 1 and 2, participants will develop their understanding of how to deliver evidence-based practices using the resource tool provided entitled Teacher Preparation to Deliver Evidence-Based Transition and Planning Services to Youth with Disabilities. In week 3, the task is to identify a course in your degree program related to IEPs or post-secondary transition, and using the assessment tool found on pages 40 through 49 of the previous document to conduct an assessment of your coursework using the best practices identified. In weeks 4 and 5, students will upload their assessment into the designated Google Drive folder and collectively compare and contrast the assignments, noting what programs are doing well and what areas need improvement. In weeks 6 and 7, participants will read the article Transitional Competencies for Pre-Service Education Programs and create a checklist of competencies for pre-service special education teachers. This document will be uploaded into the designated Google Drive folder. In weeks 8 and 9, as a class, participants will create a diagram that demonstrates the key components for creating evidence-based transition plans based on the reading that has taken place throughout the project. For the final project, students will pair in diverse groups of 3s to complete a mock transition plan. The transition plan will be presented in a 6 to 10 slide presentation as an instructional tool for other pre-service special education teachers to learn evidence-based best practices for transition planning. Throughout the project, participants will use a designated Google Drive folder to find all the necessary documents and to upload required work. Google Documents will be used for students to collaborate in real time while creating documents, and video conferencing will be used for collaborative sessions. During the project, participants will be assessed collectively and individually. Initially, participants will complete a diagnostic assessment, and the final project will serve as a summative assessment. The learning leader will use pre-formulated holistic rubrics to assess each of the assignments. There are also self-assessments and group assessments for each activity that are conducted using pre-formulated checklists. Both the U.S. and Canada use IEPs to create learning plans for students with disabilities. This GNET project is a way to create a global tool to help other pre-service special education teachers learn evidence-based transition practices. We encourage our global partners to participate and learn with us.